Hi, I'm here to answer a question that has been submitted by one of our patrons. So this patron asked, why do some brains enjoy being scared? Well, it's a great question, and there is science behind it. So it is not like there's one center for fear that we can point to and say that's the fear center. There are multiple areas. One of them is the orbitofrontal cortex, and another one is the anterior insula. And they found that people with damage to the orbitofrontal cortex are more likely to engage in risky behavior. They don't seem to be able to evaluate the risk correctly. So if you gave them a choice between a risky option and a safe option, they would consistently choose the risky option, even though they said that they understood that the risky option was dangerous. So that suggests that that part of the brain is really important for evaluating the risk of an option and deciding if it is worth it. Those two together kind of make up the center for evaluating risk and reward in your brain. Is it just the strength of the connections between these different areas? Is it the sensitivity of the neurons in these areas? And be sure to subscribe to the channel to see more videos like this. Thanks for watching. Is it the neurotransmitters that are being released in these areas? We don't know yet. But figuring out what it is that makes some brains more prone to risk-taking than others could really help us develop better treatments for people who are engaging in dangerous behaviors. And then other parts of the brain, like the amygdala and the hippocampus, they process the actual emotional response to a stimulus. So let's say you're watching a horror movie. The visual cortex in the back of your brain is just processing the images like, oh, there is a person holding a knife, and then those signals get sent forward to the amygdala, which is then going to evaluate them and decide, oh, this is threatening. So there's multiple places in the brain that are involved in this whole process, and different parts of the brain are going to respond to different things. So it's not just one center that controls all of your responses to threat. So this is a really interesting research area in neuroscience, because it is not just about why do people enjoy scary movies or haunted houses or roller coasters, but also why do some people seek out danger in their everyday lives. Like some people will drive really fast or take drugs or drink alcohol, engage in risky sexual behavior. And so there's a whole continuum from, mild thrill seeking to actual dangerous, life-threatening behaviors. And we want to understand what makes people tick and what makes them be willing to take risks. One thing that researchers have figured out is that there are a lot of different systems in the brain that are interacting. What researchers have found is that the orbitofrontal cortex is very active when people are making decisions under conditions of risk. So if you're trying to figure out, should I take this risk or not, that part of the brain is going to be active. And the anterior insula is involved in integrating emotion into decision-making. So these two together, along with the amygdala, which is another key part of the limbic system, they work together to make your decisions about whether to approach something that is scary or avoid it. And what researchers have found is that the orbitofrontal cortex has direct connections with the periaqueductal gray, which is another part of the brain that is involved in regulating pain and fear. So those two together seem to be critical for deciding how much fear is enough and how much risk is enough. And what researchers have done is looked at people who have damage to those areas of the brain. Now, it is still not completely clear what it is about some people's brains that makes them more willing to take risks than other people's brains. So thanks for submitting this question. If you have a question you'd like to see answered, please submit it through the link below.